let's go through some of these missed opportunities, okay? Right from the beginning, okay? So let's replay this real quick, okay? Very first play of the game, BYU comes out. I don't know that I can really figure out why the throw on the first play of the game was as terrible as it was. Watching it live and tweeting it live, I genuinely thought that the quarterback got his hand thrown, his hand hit on the throw. Upon further review, that didn't happen. There was a little bit of pressure in his face that had a lot to do with it. I understand. However, little pressure in his face, can't step up, throws a duck. Tariq Bracy ends up with the easiest interception of his career by far. And now Notre Dame, one play into the game, has the ball in BYU territory with the opportunity to just, that's how you draw it up. I mean, that's how it's supposed to work, because now you go down, you score, you get the lead, and you're getting the ball back, at the beginning of the second half. Just then that if things go right here at the beginning, you've put yourself in a really, really great situation to win. Notre Dame, when that play happened and Notre Dame has the ball, their win probability, and I'm not looking at the win probability or talking analytics really, but just from a common sense standpoint, win probability goes immediately up right away. Notre Dame moves the ball pretty easily right on down to first and goal, and they walk away with nothing but 3. And they walk away with nothing but 3 because, unfortunately, Drew Pine, who for 90% of this game played a really, really solid football game in terms of Notre Dame quarterbacking. If you recall, it's 3rd and goal. Notre Dame's around the 6 or 7 yard line. They motion Logan Diggs out to the left. Michael Mayer is on the line of scrimmage, and Diggs is kind of right behind him. Mayer runs a route towards the end zone. Really what he's trying to do there is create a rub play and kind of what you might call a legal pick. And Diggs fakes outside, comes inside, and runs basically a slant pattern. It's a decoy play. Everybody thinks the ball is going to somewhere to Mayer. You wouldn't expect necessarily a running back out of the backfield to be running that type of a route. You think the ball is either going to Mayer or somewhere on the top of the screen where the other 3 receivers are. Drew Pine had pressure in his face and just absolutely throws the ball nowhere. Nowhere in the right vicinity of Logan Diggs. And if he does, it's a touchdown. If he does, it's a touchdown. And you may say to me, well, Ben, he had all this pressure in his face. He had, you can't expect him to step in, make that throw on the dime right there that he would have needed to make so that Diggs can catch it and get into the end zone. Yes, you can say that. Yes, you can. This is big boy football right now. And I've had this conversation on Twitter with people who want to defend Drew Pine. And like I say, when I say defend Drew Pine, I'm not out here saying that Drew Pine played a bad game. He didn't. He did not play a bad game. In fact, he played a really good game. Big reason why Notre Dame won. He's also a big reason why Notre Dame wasn't up about 30 at halftime. And that's all I'll say. So we can debate this till we're blue in the face. The bottom line is Notre Dame went 5 wide there. There's a blitz off the corner. That's not the offensive line's responsibility. It's the quarterback's responsibility to know that the ball is coming. That the blitz is coming and get the ball off quickly. Drew Pine didn't do it. Just didn't frickin' do it. Okay. And, when people want to talk about, well, Drew Pine this and Drew Pine that, again, I'm not taking away from the good things that Drew Pine has done. It's those plays. It's those ones that have prevented him from being the starter, from being the guy that Notre Dame went with over a guy like Buckner. It's those plays. It's those ones. And again, the great teams make those plays. They score touchdowns on 3rd and goal from the 6. They get the first turnover of the game. They march the ball right down into the red zone, and they score flipping touchdowns. And Notre Dame didn't score touchdowns. They at times. There was the time where they marched it right on down there, 4th and 1 from the 4-yard line or whatever it is. Can't get the first down. Baffles me. Blows my mind. Another blown opportunity. That one's not on Drew Pine necessarily. but can't score touchdowns when they need to score touchdowns. Okay. Right from the opening rip. Okay. And to me, when that happened, Notre Dame kicks the field goal, I think to myself, okay, if regardless, if someone had told me that BYU is going to turn it over and basically spot Notre Dame a 3-point lead, I'd take it because things have been difficult for Notre Dame this particular year. And so I was at that point in the game, I'm trying to look at it through my rose-colored glasses, my Kelly green-colored glasses, if you will. And I still was just, oh my gosh, the opportunities that's going to come back to haunt us because we've all watched Notre Dame football before and we've all seen this movie, okay, about what almost happened in this particular game. Anyhow, so to make it worse then, after that interception, Notre Dame kicks that field goal. BYU punts the ball back to Notre Dame. And Notre Dame gets the ball back in their own territory. They go 3 plays, gain 1 yard, run 1 minute and 12 seconds of time. Okay. Again, Notre Dame had BYU on the ropes from the first play of the game, and still by the end of the first quarter, trailing. Okay. Trailing. And so, in this particular instance, in this particular 3 and out, again, when this 3 and out happened, I said to myself, we're losing. we're going to lose the game. We got to get it together. We're going to lose. Thankfully, they got it together. But again, I'm talking about why can't Notre Dame just come out and blow the brakes off of someone? And here's why, okay? I talked about Drew Pine and his miss on 3rd down. It's 3rd and 9. In this particular instance, after BYU has punted it, Notre Dame runs 2 run plays, if I'm not mistaken, and then it's 3rd and 9, okay? Also, side note, I believe this was an instance where it was 2nd and 10 and Tommy Rees called a run play for about the 3 millionth time this season. But again, I digress. If you don't believe me, if you don't believe that I've been on this for a long time, go back and watch my Twitter feed. Literally, 2nd and 10, 95% of the time, Tommy Rees calling a run play, either a draw or something straight up the middle. And I get it, trying to get it to 3rd and manageable. Throw the ball for 6 yards and get it to 3rd and manageable. Okay, this time 3rd and 9, and Jaden Thomas just comes wide open, runs kind of like a skinny post, not really a quick slant. Right down the middle, BYU dropped 8 into coverage, rushing 3, Drew Pine's second basically drop back of the game, and leaves the pocket for God knows what reason. No idea why, okay? If you want to watch the play, go back and find it on my Twitter. I promise I tweeted the whole play because I was mind blown, okay? Mind blown at this particular one. He starts to roll right. You see, because he's looking for Michael Mayer first. And this is kind of a problem with Drew Pine. It worked out tonight because he was able to hook up with Mayer 10 times, was it? Stares down Michael Mayer a whole awful ton. He's looking for Michael Mayer. He's blanketed. Meanwhile, Jaden Thomas runs his route, stops in the middle of the field because there's 20 yards of space around him, throws his hand in the air, sees that his quarterback then is rolling the opposite direction. He starts to run that direction like you're taught to do as a receiver, but then Drew Pine throws it across his body over kind of the middle of the field. Lucky that play doesn't turn into something worse. Thomas goes up to get it, gets drilled, almost killed, and Notre Dame has to punt. And again, like I say, I even had a heated argument about this on Twitter. Thomas was open the entire play, but it was very clear we had one read on that play. The read was Mayer. He wasn't open initially. He was supposed to come back around the 1st down marker. We're staring Mayer down. We're staring him down. Only after like 6 seconds of play time did we see that Thomas was open, but now he's throwing him to where all the BYU defenders are and another Notre Dame receiver. Incomplete pass. We punt. And instead of at least moving the ball a little bit and putting BYU back in their own territory, down 3-0, so that they at least have to go to the first down or put a drive together to go get points. We punt it, long punt return. BYU's in Notre Dame territory. BYU goes in and scores a touchdown. It's 6-3, and BYU does what Notre Dame typically does in this situation. They get a delay of game on an extra point. They miss the extra point, and I'm thinking, man, that's the most Notre Dame thing I've ever seen. And BYU did it. And again, like I say, instead of putting it on the accelerator and putting a team down 10-0 to start a game, 14-0 if you come up with 2 touchdowns, whatever the situation is, it's 6-3. It's 6-3, and we all know Notre Dame is the better football team this on this night, and we all knew it. We could all see it, and it was a 6-3 that felt like, man, Notre Dame is the better team here. Like I literally am like, man, Notre Dame is way better than this team, but it's 6-3, and Notre Dame doesn't have the killer instinct to go put a team away. Go put a team away. Okay, we roll on into the second quarter. Then it starts to look like then Notre Dame started to play football. Okay, for a quarter and a half, or at least the whole second quarter. Let's at least say that. Okay, for the second quarter, then Notre Dame does it just wonderfully. Okay, this is then Notre Dame puts a drive together, this is the play then where after they put the drive together, they go 10 plays. 75 yards, really start the second quarter this way, where Pine hits Mayer 24 yards for a touchdown to go up 10-6. But then here we go, the flip again. Okay, I believe BYU punted. Notre Dame has the ball. They're up 10-6. They're driving. There's fourth down at the 1. Fourth and 1 in the red zone, like I just talked about. And guess what? Notre Dame can't get it. Okay. The silver lining here, of course, is that then Notre Dame was able to sack BYU's quarterback on the very next play for a safety to go up 12-6, which was wonderful for Notre Dame, But we know that the defense, for the most part, is pretty good. We know that, okay? I tweeted during the game that it's very obvious. There's the Jason Adamaloa comment from, before the Ohio State game that we think we're the baddest group of mother people in the world. Didn't see that so much against Ohio State, didn't see that against Marshall, started to see that against Cal, started to see that against North Carolina, starting to see that even more today. Notre Dame's defensive line is a game-changing defensive line. And when they're good, they're really good. Okay, but we knew that. Did it take a couple games for it to really come and show out? Absolutely. But for Notre Dame to be the team that we want them to be going forward, past this year, past, the 10-win ceiling that we feel like we have, past, winning an actual New Year's Six bowl game, past all that, to be that team, to be the Alabamas, the Clemsons, the Ohio States, whatever, you gotta do both. I'm tired of good defense, bad offense, or good offense, bad defense, whatever. I'm tired of it. Okay, I'm tired, and we knew that Notre Dame's defense was capable of that. It doesn't take away feeling good about it, of feeling good about a safety. That was pretty sweet. That was a pretty sweet time to be a Notre Dame football fan, to watch them, just maul a team like that on the defensive line for a lot of the game, get stop after stop when they needed to, minus a couple of big chunk pass plays, and just control that. Okay, we expected that. We expected that to happen. We expected that to happen week 1. Took a little bit of time. We see it. I want to see the offense put teams away when the defense is playing that good. That's what I want. Okay. And so 12-6 was fine. Obviously, then it looks like I'm starting to get what I want when Notre Dame goes down and, and puts it, hits Jaden Thomas for the 30-yard touchdown where, my God, we threw it downfield into one-on-one coverage and Jaden went up and made an unreal catch. So you're telling me that throwing the ball down the field and giving your receivers an opportunity to make plays in one-on-one coverage actually works? Is that what you're saying? Because we don't do it enough. We don't. And partially it's because Pine doesn't see it. He doesn't throw it. He doesn't let it go. It's the same thing we said about Ian Book. It's the same thing that we said when it was a competition between Drew Pine and Tyler Buckner. That Tyler Buckner's going to be the one that throws it downfield, and that's not what we have gotten. Now, Pine, to his credit, like I say, outside of basically his first 2 dropbacks of the game, was really good for the rest of the game after that. And so, if you watch my timeline, you see me change my tune real quick, okay? But it's why do we have so many of these plays where we miss, where we don't take advantage of opportunities? I'm tired of it, okay? Ohio State doesn't miss opportunities like that. Alabama doesn't miss opportunities like that. Clemson doesn't miss opportunities like that. In fact, I'll retract that and say they have missed some opportunities like that, but they're starting to figure it out finally. Notre Dame can't miss opportunities the way that they have, okay? And they have to make the most of the opportunities that they're given. This needs to be a more explosive offense. We see glimmers of it. We don't see the consistency. And that's what I want. Nonetheless, to kind of go back through this real quick, so Notre Dame goes up 18-6 into halftime. It feels like it should have been about like 28 to maybe 3. Okay. It just felt like Notre Dame left multiple touchdowns out there. At least maybe like 21-3 if you're being more conservative with it. Just felt like there were points left out there in the first half. And that BYU should have never, ever, ever had that short field to score the 1 touchdown that they scored in the first half. Nonetheless, good first half, dominant first half, even though the scoreboard didn't show the dominance for Notre Dame. And then the third quarter rolls around. Notre Dame couldn't put a better offensive drive together to start the third to go up 25-6. Again, that's ended by another Mayer touchdown. And then the wheels darn near fell off. It's 25-6. We're blitzing safeties. Why? Why are we blitzing safeties? Why? I understand, there are some people that would take this a step further. I'm going to say, why are we blitzing safeties up 25-6? Okay. There are some people that would say, why in the hell are we blitzing safeties at all? Because it never works. It actually worked once in a game this year, but that's about it. Every other time we blitzed the safety, Ohio State, this particular game, there's another time that I can't think of off the top of my head, but the safety blitzes haven't worked a ton, and now you're doing it when you should be just playing good fundamental football. If you're up 25-6 and they move the ball a little bit and they kick a field goal, it doesn't matter. In fact, they're probably in 4-down territory anyway, so you don't even have to worry about them moving the football as long as you don't give up scores, touchdowns. And we're blitzing safeties, giving up big plays, and now the one thing that couldn't happen was BYU scoring quickly, and you allowed it to happen, okay? And it's becoming PTSD for me because not only am I a Notre Dame fan, I'm also a flippin' Browns fan. And every game thus far the Browns have played, they've had a lead, and then they've given up a big play, and it's been bad, okay? And Notre Dame was giving me flashbacks from a very traumatic football watching experience that I've had with the Browns on a couple of Sundays this year. And so it's 25-13. Of course then, Notre Dame does nothing. Another big play, 10 plays, 87 yards for BYU to start the fourth flipping quarter and the third start of the fourth. And now you've got a ball game in a game that you should have put away. When you were up 25-6 to BYU, it should have been darn near 40. Should have been about 35-6. And then you don't care about one big chunk play, one garbage time play. Instead, you're in a one possession game, in a game that you feel like you flipping dominated physically and really, and actually had a couple things go your way, and you're still up 25-20. You throw an interception. Okay. And I get it. Batted ball. Some plays happen. Flukes happen. I'm not going to rip Drew Pine for that. Although, again, like I say, if you want reasons why Drew Pine hadn't been the quarterback, hadn't been the guy, I got to imagine being 5'11" and being limited has something to do with that. Regardless, I'm not going to harp on him because, again, outside of 2 dropbacks to start the game, thought he played magnificently. So I'm not going to knock on that particular interception. Football plays happen. But regardless, that interception put you in a position where you can lose a football game that you were going to win because you didn't throttle a team when you had the opportunity to flippin' throttle them. That's what I'll say. To Notre Dame's credit, again, defense comes up absolutely huge to end this game. Getting that stop on 4th and 2. Jason Adamilola, been one of my favorite players for Notre Dame since he made it to campus, truly. And he showed why. Notre Dame comes up with a huge stop there. They run the ball to pick up a couple of first downs to milk the clock there, which was wonderful to see. I love the management at the end of the game. I love that play call on 3rd and 4. I had tweeted that, what I would have done if I'm calling the plays there is, line up, try to find some sort of a real high percentage throw, maybe even a quarterback draw, an RPO, a screen, something that that the pass is going to be complete and gives you a chance to run for that first down, but also keeps the clock running. Because at that juncture, there was, a little under a minute and a half left, I think. Maybe it was a minute 50. And you run that down to about a minute 10, and then you punt it to BYU deep in their own territory, and then you're making it so that BYU has to go the length of the field basically with no timeouts and a minute left to go. So I understand playing pretty conservatively. As far as conservative play calls go, I think that toss play with Sherwood out there blocking in front was a great call. Allowed Estime to get downfield a little bit, get his shoulder pads going, downhill. And, whether or not he actually got the first down, I don't know. That can be a debate for another day. I'm sure there's I haven't seen it, but I'm sure there's some BYU fan that's furious about the spot and the first down there. Gotta imagine, although, history doesn't necessarily support this thought, but gotta imagine that even if it's 4th and inches, Notre Dame goes for it and gets it there anyhow. And then the game's over. Best formation in football is the victory formation. Love it when Notre Dame can end the game in a victory formation.